Welcome to Inspiration from the Conversation podcast. It's here where I hope you'll find inspiration. Hi, I'm Jeff, your host, and this is episode 3 Playing an Instrument. Sometimes you'll want to give up the guitar, you'll hate the guitar, but if you stick with it, you're going to be rewarded. This is a quote by famous guitarist by the name of Jimi Hendrix. Learning to play any kind of instrument can be frustrating, more so if you wait to start learning when you're in your mid 50s. That's when I started. I actually started on acoustic guitar. I had found a teacher not far from the house, and I commenced to learning how to play the guitar in my 50s, mid 50s. Boy, I tell you what, that was really something else. But I kind of struggled through, and I started to I was able to start playing a few songs. The teacher that I had, she was basically, we were basically learning mainly Christian tunes. And that was okay, because really the whole thing in a nutshell is to learn how to play, to learn scales and other things, a little more theory, but mostly just picking up the guitar and being able to play, different songs, certain songs that you kind of work through and you kind of figure out. And it was kind of funny because usually once a year, she would have a recital at her church, and she would ask her students to pick a song and to work on that song and play it in front of people at her church. This occurred once every year, and it was kind of difficult for me because as you're playing, you really want to try to play and not really have a what you call a play the wrong note. You always want to try to play the right note at the right time. And excuse me, as being new to music, you're gonna make mistakes. Even professionals, although you can't really tell it, but professionals make mistakes. But there are not many, but they do make mistakes. And so that's another testament as to, we're not perfect. But like I said, they play so flawlessly and quickly that you really cannot tell. And a lot of times they'll go back and do maybe 2 or 3 takes, and they usually get it in there in those couple of takes. It's right on the money. But anyway, so I commenced to doing that, and it was like work. It really was work. And for a while, I wondered my motive for going back at this late date in my life, trying to figure out how to play a guitar. But it was really good. But what happened, me and the teacher that I was seeing and learning from, we kind of fell out, and I left. And originally, after that, I was like, well, maybe I'll just find some stuff online, because I was already I had one or two sites that I was checking out different things from, learning, different things, like a little more theory. And I figured that maybe I would just do that and kick that along and in hopes that I would, be able to progress that way. But actually, what happened not long after I left the one guitar teacher, my late wife, one of her coworkers, she was taking bass from a guy named Dale Bryce, and my late wife, she said that maybe you should go talk to him and see if it's something that you might be interested in doing, taking lessons from him. And I was kind of contemplating stopping the guitar and kind of picking up the bass. So I went and talked to Dale, and we sat down and we talked about a lot of things. And while that really wasn't a, a lesson, but I just liked everything that that we talked about. Not only did we talk about, you know, where I was as far as, musically, we talked about music, and we talked about different groups and influences that we have. And come to find out, we had some of the same influences. So that was really nice. But so I had been with the guitar teacher for about 2.5, maybe 3 years, and it's kind of funny because back then, I was working full time, so I didn't have very much time, but I did get, the time that I had have available. I used to get at least, try to get in at least 30 minutes each day, and I was doing that Monday through Sunday. But then I kind of cut back and say, okay, well, Sunday is just going to be a rest day. I would not pick up the guitar. I would just do other things, like whether listen to music or go online and pick up different things and read about different things that way. So that's what I did. But anyway, so when I started with Dale, I actually went out and, bought a bass, even though he told me not to worry about it because, he's got plenty of guitars there that I can actually pick up and learn. But, me, I'm like, nah, I want to go ahead and, get a bass. So I did go out and I found me a fairly moderately price guitar. It wasn't very much bass guitar. It was a Squire. I still have that bass today, and so I started taking lessons with Dale. But even with Dale, it was not easy. Just like, and I'm still with Dale to this very day. But what I like about Dale is he gives you just a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of theory, and then we play or we talk about the different keys and scales and modes and things like that there. And it's kind of funny because in the beginning, I didn't really understand what he was talking about, even though he was telling me the things that he was talking about. But it just took some time, and over the course of me continuing to talk and to go back and forth, I started to understand and pick up the language, and really that's very important that you're able to do that. But it was it's just an eye opener because they always say that if you pick up an instrument, it doesn't necessarily have to be the bass, but any instrument, you really need to look for or take lessons from people that enjoy or play the kind of music that you're interested in, because it does make a difference. And I didn't really understand that, but now I do understand that it does make a difference, because that person understands the music, and they're able to relay what it is about that music when you have questions. They're able to talk to you about what it is that you hear, what it is that they're doing, and it does make a difference in your learning. But with Dale, he gives you a little memory. He gives you some theory, but it's funny because there were many days after a lesson with him that my eyes would be glassed over, and I would have a headache, and I'm like, man, I'm going home and I'm gonna lay down, because the theory, although he didn't give me a little bit, he gave me what I could handle, and that's another thing that I like about studying under Dale. But he gives you a little bit, and you're able to kind of chew on it and kind of figure things out. You're able to because it's not a lot. You're able to take it, and you're able to understand it. And if you have questions, you come back that next week, and you talk to him again, and you'll go back through it. And again, that does it makes a very big difference in learning any type of instrument. But yeah, I had many headaches after we had theory. But it's a necessary evil, you know. And I'm calling it evil because that's what it felt like most days when I was getting the theory. But you know, um, it does make a difference in your learning. And but I guess that's just the way it is. But another thing that I liked about Dale is that I enjoyed hanging out in the studio, and I got the opportunity to talk to him about funk, jazz, fusion, rock, some country, because I like some country too. And I love some James Taylor. I love his guitar playing and everything. I don't know where it came from, but he does play really, really good guitar. And the music is really good. The people that play with him are really, really talented. But yeah, we talked about that. We talked about we talk about theory, whether it's scales or pentatonics, major, minor, chords, and different techniques that are used as far as playing on the bass guitar. But and then we talk about if he's got gigs or whatever coming up. But it was just always interesting to kind of kick things with him. And so the learning of the bass guitar is it's just instrumental. It was for me anyway, because it gave me the opportunity to really just kind of get away from whatever it was, whatever problem I was kind of dealing with at that particular time, or anybody else's problem. I was able to lay that aside, pick up the guitar, and start working on some music or whatever the case may be, or working on a type of scale or technique. And the hope is that that you're able to be present with you and your instrument. And in my case, it was the bass guitar. I really, really enjoyed that. And so, what I really like about it was that I was able to be present with the instrument. And not being, not worrying about my problems or worrying about somebody else's problems. I was just in the moment enjoying myself. But what I realized about practicing the bass is that although, and YouTube is real bad about this, but you see all these insane people playing, with incredible chops. Some of them are a whole lot younger than me. But they're just playing. They're just all of. I mean, they're just going up and down the fretboard, doing this and doing that. But what I realize is that there are some people that have natural talent when it comes to playing the instrument. But for a lot of us, we have to put in the work, and that means to practice, and that means to get the guitar and to or whatever instrument that you're trying to learn, and spend time with it. And so I'm a living proof that you don't have to have any type of special talent to learn an instrument. It's really just about putting the time in. And that's really what you have to do. You have to put the time in. But another thing about learning an instrument is this. When you start learning the instrument and you listen to music, you listen to it a lot differently. And what I mean by that is that the theory that whoever it is that you're taking lessons from, when they start giving you that theory, you try to use that theory to listen to different songs. And a lot of times you're trying to determine, well, what key is that song in? What is that person? What is he or she doing with whatever instrument that you're trying to learn? Like for me, I'm listening to a bass line and I'm like, man, that's a nice bass line. Can I learn how to play that? And sometimes it's difficult because depending on what kind of medium that you're listening to, you can't hear everything. And that's why it's best if you're trying to learn, to listen to the song a couple of times and really put on some headphones and listen through headphones to kind of listen and figure out what the person is doing in the song. But you look at, or should I say, you listen to music a lot differently. I mean, you may be listening to the words, but when you're listening to, what the drums are doing, what the guitar is doing, what the bass is doing, what the keyboard is doing, and you also listening to if the song has a person singing, you listening to what that person's doing, and that's really how you start to learn, and you start to pick up different licks and embellishments that a person does, whether it be on a guitar or a trumpet or saxophone or bass guitar or even drums, whatever it is. And you start picking up those little things and you try to incorporate those things into, your instrument, when you can. And you start to you start to listen to people. You might start to become interested in different artists and different bands and groups and stuff like that there. So learning an instrument is very instrumental in that aspect. It really is. But the last thing I like to do is because I'm been doing this for a little while now, but I eventually do want to play in a band. I really do. But my problem is my confidence. I am working on my confidence because I'm still afraid to play in front of people. And really, what it is that, well, I'm afraid to play in front of people, and I'm still not versed as far as the language. And so I may have a problem. If somebody asks me what I'm doing, I might have a problem, or I don't have enough of the language ingrained in me to explain what it is that I'm doing. But a wise man once told me, and his name is Dale, that you just need to go play. And it is true, because it's just like anything. When you play with people that are better than you, then it brings your game up. And I should know this, because that's the way it was years ago when I played basketball. When I started playing basketball, I always played with people that were better than me, and I got better as a result of doing that. And really, this is the same thing. And I do need to apply and do the same thing. But it's kind of funny because I'm talking about my confidence and playing in front of people. Case in point, the other day, when I was in a lesson, this was just a couple of days ago. It was kind of funny because I was kind of noodling around, and Dale had we were just about finishing up anyway, but Dale had stepped outside, and I just continued to noodle on my bass, because I figured I'd just do that, and then when he comes back in, I'll just unplug and just kind of go on about the rest of my day. But anyway, so he had stepped outside, and I did know that he had another student that was coming. But anyway, I heard the door open. He went out, and then a couple of minutes later, the door opened up, and I was just kind of noodling around. I was actually doing, I was messing around with the E minor scale. I was just kind of noodling around doing stuff, and just kind of, blah, 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 the best I could anyway. But what happened was, here I was thinking that Dale had came back in, and he was just doing stuff, stuff around the door. But his next student had came in and was sitting on the couch, and then like I said, I didn't know. And so I was just kind of noodling around again. I was continuing to noodle. And then I heard the door open again. And then that's when I looked around. And that's when I realized that the student was sitting there. And Dale had just come in. And I was kind of messing around with the bass line for Sarah Smile. And he said, "Oh, I see you got that down." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I kind of want to mess around, continue to mess around with it, and kind of steal it and do some other things with it." And he said, "Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take music like that and really do things and kind of make it your own, really." So I realized then that the student was in there and he was just listening to me. He never did say anything, but I realized if I could do the same thing, if I could get up in front of somebody and kind of have the same feeling or mentality of doing that, then I'll be okay. I mean, I'll probably be nervous right when I start, but once I get into it, then it'll just be like any other thing that I'm doing, just like eating, walking, or talking. So with that, my plan is to actually go do a couple of open mics. Dale had told me about the one that's next door to his studio, and he was saying, "Won't you just come and hang out and get a feel for it?" And that's what I plan to do. And I was also invited to another open mic where the guy was saying that it's really just, you know, you just come, there's no pressure, and just so that you can get used to playing in front of people. So really, that's what my plan is in the next couple of, next week or so. I'm gonna go to an open mic and just kind of get the feel of what, what's going on, so I can eventually go back and play. I got, you know, maybe one or two songs that I might mess around with, kind of practice, and then I have a looper pedal and do like a little something on that, and just kind of work through some stuff as that looper pedal is going. So that's really what my plan is, and in hopes of at some point, playing with a band. At least that's what I'm shooting for anyway. But anyway, that's what my plan is, and just know that if you decide to pick up an instrument or any type of hobby, it doesn't have to be necessarily learning how to play an instrument, but any type of hobby, something that you enjoy, that you can kind of unplug and just be by yourself, and get into it, and hopefully it's something that's relaxing, something that you don't consider work, but just something that you enjoy, and you can be by yourself or be present with whatever it is that you're working with, or learning, or that hobby. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, that's what my plan is, and when I do go to the open mic and actually do the open mic, I'll come back and I'll let you know how it went. So I'm gonna stop it right there, and I'll come back when I have more time. Talk to you soon.